Welcome back. You're watching Newslink with me, Aropwa Madzen, and let's focus on this story now. We've got KwaZulu-Natal Premier, Ms. Nomusa Dube-Ncube, who's launched a smart agriculture project to uplift communities in the agricultural sector in different parts of that province. She joins us now to perhaps explain to us what opportunities a smart agriculture project will create and exactly what it encompasses. A very good morning to you, Premier, and thank you very much for joining us this morning. Perhaps talk us through what exactly the Smart Agriculture Project is and the importance for the province of KZN.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having us. In the next few decades, the agricultural industry is set to become more important than ever before, as it will need to meet the demands of a growing population of various communities. That's why farmers and agribusiness are turning into Internet of Things and the smart farming technologies for improved analytics and greater production capabilities. For us, smart farming incorporates the information technologies into machinery, equipment, and sensors used in the agricultural production system. This will enable our farmers to have better yields than what they have been having before. As we know that as part of our rolling out of the Smart Province program, we want to inspire the use of technologies and the digital solutions in the agricultural space. That is why yesterday, as part of our planting season, we launched yet again the KwaZulu-Natal Smart Agricultural Project in a eThekwini municipality under KwaXimba communities.
Yes, you did start it at KwaXimba, and I'm just wondering, you yourself and related stakeholders, what are some of the earmarked sites that you're wanting to roll this out at as a priority before you go broader throughout the rest of the province?
We want to roll this out in the rest of the province because we believe that at the same time, while we are going to be targeting the agriculture, space, we want also with this to create job opportunities for young people because we're getting more of them to be trained as the drone pilots. As you would know that there is so many of our young people that are unemployed at the moment. We also even have some of the unemployed graduates, which we are aiming to retrain with a view of getting them to have skills that they can use in order for them to create their own jobs, but also to get into the job markets.
And so what about the disasters that we have because of climate change? I'm talking about the Durban floods here. How do projects of this nature or the introduction of technology in sectors like agriculture perhaps cushion the industry from those natural disasters as they happen, when they happen?
Yes, the use of technology is really going to help us as KwaZulu-Natal to improve the way in which we respond to disasters. As part of this smart province, we are training data analysts, data scientists, whose job really begins to be the one of analyzing data, looking at the trends, assisting us to ensure that our policies are informed by those researchers, but also the scientific information that has been gathered within the various spaces. As you say that, with our disasters that we continue to experience, it becomes really important that we use technology in order for us to improve our response to such disasters.
Yes, and that's going to be very important. You did speak about the job opportunities that'll be created by the technology implementation within the agricultural space. But I'm just wondering about other opportunities that this might potentially unlock for the province, apart from the fact that you are highlighting that you've become a province that focuses on technology as a way to stimulate job opportunities and growth. Some other opportunities that might exist because of this.
Yes, there are quite a variety of opportunities because for many young people that we are going to be training, they are going to be getting an internationally recognized certificate, which actually gives them an edge in terms of being able to be employed anywhere in the world, but also to be able to either work for international companies, even residing here in South Africa, in KwaZulu-Natal, but also be able to open their own business opportunities so that, as you would know, that we trade with the rest of the world. As we are starting to work this morning in the rest of the world, other people in other parts of the world are sleeping. And therefore, other people want to have their companies operating 24 hours. So with these opportunities that we are creating for our young people so that they can compete with other young people elsewhere in the world, it gives them really that foot on the door to be able to have these endless opportunities that are available in the world, but also the use of technology in order for us to improve our SMMEs, in order for us to improve the provision of mechanization services into agriculture, but also in other services around the technology space.
Yeah, you mentioned a very important thing there, Premier, skills development and opening up opportunities for young people to participate within that space. Are you confident that as a province, the resources are sufficient to be able to provide those skills development needs that young people would need to enter that sector? We've got many issues around higher education and the provision of funding, as an example, to young people who want to get into certain sectors. So your province in dealing with that issue?
Yes, you would know that perhaps I'm using an example of the drone pilots that we're talking about. You don't even need to have a matric in order for you to be a drone pilot. But more than that, what we are doing is that we are teaching young people even to assemble some of these technological gadgets that they need to use in their own businesses. So it's not just that there is going to be something readily available, but it's to get them even to understand, how do you assemble a robot? How do you assemble, the drone? How do you ensure that you have a car that is using solar, so that again we bridge the issue of unavailability of electricity or the high fuel cost. So there is a variety of areas that we are skilling our young people in this. And many of our, labs, the technological labs that we have are powered by solar to again bridge the issue of the infrastructure that is not readily available in some parts of our province. But more than the infrastructure availability, we are really saying there is so many, there's a huge number of unemployed young people. And as we begin to train the trainers so that at least they are able to extend, wide and broad these training opportunities to other young people so that we get the pool of young people, but also we extend, their scope. We have a number of companies already that are beginning to say, once you have this team that haven't been trained, please can we have 10 of them? Can we have 20 of them? And already there is, an uptake, but also there is partnership that we are forging with various companies and various government as well as the private sector institutions.
Finally, Premier, and I have to ask this because I have you with me and you are the Premier, there have been various weather warnings that have come out around KZN and flood warnings that have been raised as alarms by various analysts. Are you confident that your province is ready to deal with what could potentially be what we saw with the flooding earlier on this year? Have you got the systems in place to make sure that the people and the infrastructure of the province will be protected as best as it can?
Yes, we are working very hard to improve the level of our responsiveness, but also looking at, safe-proofing the infrastructure. As you correctly say, that as we were rebuilding, and we are still rebuilding from the previous, disasters and floods, we are now ensuring that when we build the infrastructure that is resilient, but we also look at, the forms of materials that we use. We look at the areas where we build so that we avoid areas that are prone to disasters, but also we avoid areas where we can see that there is unstable, sand or unstable grounds and all those kind of things. We're really beginning to be conscious when we are doing things, but also conscientizing businesses and the private sector to say, look, we are living along the coast and we are in the Indian Ocean. And the studies are telling us that more and more our waters are getting warmer and the sea levels are rising. So it becomes really, really important that whatever that we do, it's informed by scientific, researchers and findings that are coming out to say, how do we then get ourselves ready? How do we also make sure that we avoid things that can be avoided by building in a manner that ensures that really we can withstand the test of times whenever we are struck with disasters. Of course, we know that disasters are a natural phenomenon. We cannot be 100% sure as to what is it that we are going to be getting, because in the previous years we never even had to experience even snow, and nowadays we experience the snow. Nowadays we experience heavy weathers, we experience strong winds. So it's all different types of the changing of the weather patterns that we are now experiencing in our province. So we are looking at various forms, but also including forging partnerships with international institutions as well as our local institutions with the view of looking at the studies so that we inform as well as to which are the parts of our areas in our province that are more prone to disasters.
Thank you very much, Premier Nomusa Dube-Ncube, for joining us. That extensive explanation of that particular SMART project, but also just what the province is doing to mitigate against those flood warnings that we've been reporting on throughout the week. Thank you very much for your time this morning.